All right. Don't come for me in the comments saying I'm a year old to have made this reaction video, because on my channel, I'm never late to do anything. I'll go back to pick up a 10-year-old video and come make a reaction video about it today in 2025, right? So you can't tell me I'm late. So with that being said, and you guys seen the thumbnail and the video title for today, I'm going to be giving my honest opinion about the 2023 BET Awards Cypher featuring Megs, Black Les, Alakine, which is Caesar Alakine / Reason. But I think he came to this Cypher as Alakine. And then Phantom Steez, there were 4 of them, right? So I'm going to be making a reaction and I'm going to be giving my opinion based on which the time frame they were given and based on how each person, each individual came onto the scene and had the mic, right? So I'm going to go with that order. So first, I'm going to start off with Megs. I'm not pretty sure if I know any Megs songs. This is one of those situations where I might know some of his songs, just that I might not remember where I know them from, because it's one of those things that I think it goes with being me. I might know a song, but not really know whose song that is until I really make a full investigation to find out where that song came from and who's the owner or the primary artist of that song. So Megs, I don't know. For now, I'm going to say I don't know his songs, but after this video, I'll probably go back and make a research about who Megs is and maybe find out his songs. But back to the Cypher. In my honest opinion, I think Megs did his part very well. I think he did his part very, very well, because in my experience, probably in making music, I think it's kind of like how it works with features when you make a feature project, maybe when you have 2 or more artists on one song, hopping on one song, right? The first artist is not supposed to be getting in on the song and is already aggressive and is already putting in some of the hardest bars, but it depends on which song you're making. It could also give off a platform for you to be that versatile and be that aggressive with lyricism. But I think in this case, since it was a casual Cypher, I think Megs did his part very well, because he started the Cypher off very gently, not too aggressive, but he was well aware of his lyrics, well aware of his wordplay and everything. So he did his part. He opened the Cypher well. There is a distinctive difference between the words that you would use to end a song and words that you would use to open up a song, to introduce a song or a Cypher or whatever, or any piece of work. There's always an opening statement and a closing statement. Megs did very well. He didn't come off, or he didn't get on the scene with a middle segment, or he didn't open up with a closing segment. He did his part to open up the Cypher, right? So he's excused. I think he did his part. So we're going to put him off to the side. Now we're going to come to Black Les. And in short words, to describe Black Les, I'm going to say the godfather of that Cypher and the godfather of his own lane, right? And maybe hip-hop, SA hip-hop, because he has a distinctive way of making music. I think okay, so the idea with Black Les, I'm not that unfamiliar with it, because I've been a fan of Black Les since Freedom of Fame. That's one of, I had Freedom of Fame Reloaded and the original Freedom of Fame, That's one of my favorite songs where Black Les is involved in the whole song. So I'm not that unfamiliar with Black Les. I think he's one of my favorite, maybe SA artists from back then, back when it was Cash Time and Kara Kara, when we had the petrol or milk t-shirts and the family tree t-shirts, back then. Yeah, I got introduced to Black Les by my brother, actually, and from there I just took it on my own to really discover how his wordplay goes by, how his pen works, everything else. So I think in this case, talking about the Cypher, I'm gonna say Black Les was first the godfather of this whole Cypher, right? He was the chief cornerstone of the whole Cypher. I think he held the whole thing up on his own. He had it on his shoulders alone, right? Just that maybe with the support of Megs, he was able to make a cool image out of that whole Cypher. I like that line where he said, "Father's foresight." I like that wordplay. That wordplay he did, But I like how he did his wordplay. And I think one thing that I could easily describe Black Les with is that he took his time with the pen, right? I think one thing that probably describes an artist better enough is how much dedication they actually put into their pen game, you know. So I think Black Les is one of those people that he didn't and he doesn't, I hope, make music for the cloud part of it. He actually focuses on his pen game, you know, to make sure that his words are the right words, versatility, lyricism, everything is just pashash. You get me? So Blacklist, I don't really have maybe any negative comments to talk about when it comes to him, because I think he took his time with his pen, such that when it was time for him to leave the pen, to excuse the pen for a short while to come up with a freestyle or a cipher, it was very easy for him to do, because he's familiar with the wordplay, he's familiar with the pen, he's familiar with the whole system of rap music. So he doesn't always need to have a pen nearby for him to execute his excellency in music. I hope you get that. So 10 out of 10 for Black Les, right? 10 out of 10. Like nothing. He really ate. It's 10 out of 10 minus nothing. Right? And then we come to the rest of the crew. Now we come to the rest of the crew, because the whole cipher wasn't just Black Les and Mags. So we have to talk about the others. All right. So you'll excuse me because I might not remember who came first. Oh yeah, Phantom Steez came after Black Les. I think I remember him coming after Black Les. Hi. Okay, don't get me wrong, I don't know much about Phantom Steez, I'm not a fan, but keep in mind, me saying I'm not a fan of Phantom Steez doesn't mean I'm gonna throw any disses at him or maybe say something negative, all for the sake of I'm not a fan of his music or whatever. But I feel like a lot of people under that video, under that cipher, were maybe dissing Phantom Steez and saying he should stay off the mic. But if I could give my honest opinion, there's something that I always look into whenever I watch freestyles. I don't just listen to the whole freestyle and say, overall performance or score was this one. I try to really scrutinize the whole freestyle from the beginning, because one thing I learned about music is every single line counts. So when we give you credit with your wordplay and your pen game, we really scrutinize the wordplay in which you executed your whole creative work. So let me say, I'm not going to talk about his overall performance now, right? We're going to scrutinize his performance first, right? It was more of a roller coaster kind of throw in, if you get me, a roller coaster kind of throw in. What I mean by that is somewhere he had something, he lost it, he gained it again, and then he kept losing it. So in that sense, it's hard for me as a listener or as a viewer or maybe as an evaluator for me to give a solid or a concrete conclusion about his overall performance, because he was on and off. There was segments, there were parts in his freestyle where he really threw some like interesting game wordplay, right? So I'm gonna give him credit for that one. He wasn't entirely whack, right? He wasn't all bad, There were some segments that, if you go back and listen to that freestyle and you listen to the part I'm talking about where his wordplay is being revived. He held on to that specific style, his freestyle would have been a 10 out of 10, right? He would have done his part excellent. But for the fact that I think he mixed in both, I'm not that serious about this cipher and I want to be serious about this cipher. I think he put both of those energies into one, which is why it was on and off, right? So I think he could have done better, right? This is me giving an evaluation like high school teachers when they give a report at the end of the year to mark your performance. He could have done better. He needs to study more. He needs to touch them books. He needs to freestyle them books, right? So in the case of Phantom Steez, he needs to go back to the library. He needs to open up that book. Yeah. Because there's two things, right, that I also maybe learned with the whole music thing, right? In the beginning, artists used to write, really get a pen and a book and write down their lyrics. And then it evolved. I think they started writing the lyrics onto their phones, like back then when we still used BlackBerry that had where the home button was more of a touch screen, back then. So it evolved from a pad and a pen to a phone. And then we got to the point where now people were doing the punch-in method, right? So now people started punching in. You just go in the studio without a pen, without anything pre-written. You just go in there, with a blackhead, an empty dome, and then you sort of like freestyle, but you go back and re-put in your words, to make it CD type, the quality for distribution and whatever, to make it more of a song than a freestyle. So you just go in there and throw in those lines back to back till you have a complete song, right? So I think maybe, I don't know, Phantom Steez might have thought he's ready for punch-in method, right? It's giving off that impression that he thought he was worthy and well prepared enough to start punching in his lyrics in the studio, that he didn't take time to really focus on the pen. You get me? So he needs to go back. There's still room for improvement if he hasn't fallen off, that is, because this video was like a year ago. So if he hasn't fallen off yet, he still has time to go back, because genuinely, I think every single artist has a moment where we think they have fallen off beyond repair and beyond rising again. And they could just prove us wrong. I still believe in all those artists that we so say they have fallen off, that they still have that opportunity to go back and work on themselves and come back again. I think every single artist has that, because this is all about creative work. This is all about literature. This is all about, a lot. Now, Phantom Steez's overall performance, he could have done better. And then we come to... he was like, we come to him, okay, Malum Cat. I think, I don't think okay, Malum Cat was taking this whole Cypher seriously. I think I'm not going to take that much time trying to evaluate how he performed, because from the word go, from the beginning, when I saw him entering the platform, the spotlight like that, and I was already concluding that this nigga is not serious about what he's about to do. So in that way, I just, I don't know if there's any room for improvement, because I can't even use his wordplay to draw a conclusion about his performance. He was just vibing and casually having fun with it. I don't think he took this very, very seriously. Right? So I'm not really going to take that much time trying to evaluate, okay, Malum Cat's performance, right? So I'm going to move on to Alakain. Sizwe Alakain, Reason. But in this case, I'm not going to call him Reason, because Reason wouldn't have performed like this, right? What am I even talking about? I don't even listen to that nigga. But in this case, once again, I am not a big fan. I'm not even a fan of Reason or Alakain, both even those names. Whether he sees Alakain or his Reason, I'm still not a fan. I don't connect with his music very well, but I'm just going to give my honest opinion. This is going to be sort of like, I'm going to bite off some nigga's comment under the video where he said he was supposed to have came as Reason, not Sizwe Alakain. Me saying I'm not a fan of him doesn't mean I don't know his music or I'm not familiar with his music. I am familiar with some of his songs, right? Especially when he was Reason. That is why I say Black Laz's first appearance, when I first learned about him, it was Freedom or Fame. Reason was already there. So I got to see him really put out his efforts into making a song after taking time in the studio. This time, not even a freestyle or a cypher. He really went into the studio and worked, came out with something spectacular, like his verses, right? So I also agree with the person who commented that he was supposed to have came onto that spotlight as Reason, not Sizwe Alakain. I feel like Caesar Alakain is more amapiano-ish, right? And with amapiano-ish, I mean, you can throw in a bunch of random words and kacha, 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 kacha. You know, all those, that energy that amapiano artists have, some of them. Yeah, so Caesar Alakain is more of that. And if you go and listen to his part, you'll see that he wanted to throw in, he gave off the energy like he wanted to throw in a bunch of amapiano ad-libs on a BET rap cypher. He wanted to bring the amapiano energy. So because of that, my judgment to his performance is it was a bipolar performance. Yeah, I'm gonna say it was a bipolar performance. He gave off a lot of personalities. He gave dual personalities for one genre. He was supposed to have focused on rap / hip hop. And he focused on amapiano. He focused on a different genre for rap, right? So it wasn't a fantastic performance. Let me just say that. It wasn't a 10 out of 10 performance, right? So yeah, I don't really have that much detail on Reason and Okay Malum Cool Cat. Their performance was just, yeah, I think they lowered the graph. Megs opened up the scene. Black Les set the scene. The rest they just dropped the graph like badly. I get. You would think maybe there were 4 of them. You would maybe have, wait, are they 4 of them? Kabam. Okay, it was Black Les, it was Reason, it was Phantom Steez, it was Megs. Oh, there were 5 of them actually. So you would think out of 5 of them, hopefully maybe 3 of them would have really put out words, like really, like been versatile with their words, like really put out heat. And maybe the 2 last were just the vibe, you know. I think a song, the amazing thing about songs is they have those different parts, you know. There's that part where it's like strictly just wordplay. And then at one point there's just catchy vibes, you know, there's just vibes, you know. And then another part is like knowledge, you know, someone is really giving you some knowledge in his songs, you know. This is where you get storytellers who are giving you a backstory of how they grew up, how they got into the scene, their first deal, their first advance. They're really giving you an outlook of their life. So those are all components of a song, but I wasn't expecting it like this. Then 2 out of 5 people were the only people dedicated to really throwing in some words in that cypher. Because I feel like freestyles and cyphers are a way for an artist to prove himself away from being in the studio, right? So we leave the pen at home, we leave the book at home, we leave everything at home. Every pre-written material we leave at home and in the studio. Now we want to see the real you as an artist. How good are you at throwing words? How good of a dictionary are you? Or are you just, I'm not even going to say anything, but you're just a pretending artist. You're just fake, you know? So, to give off my conclusion about this whole performance, and this is me just being like explicitly honest. Megs was an intro. Black Les was the godfather. Phantom Steez and OK Malum Cool Cat were the children. Phantom Steez was the youngest child. OK Malum Cat was the oldest, goofiest son. Reason was the neighbor. That's my final conclusion about this whole cypher. Alakain was the neighbor. He was the neighbor that gets to eavesdrop on the neighbor's kids freestyling in the garage. Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah. Let me know what you think.